The last count without the kittens was about 196, but they're in cupboards or under beds or out in the gazebo. And the only time you actually see them, a lot of them, is first thing in the morning at 6:30 when you're feeding them, when you start using the can opener. Then they all come running. Well, I'm Jack Wright, and I am the co-owner of Cats Crossing, which is a non-kill and animal sanctuary, self-supporting. We try to help domestic, stray, abandoned, abused animals and people in need. And we've been doing this for almost 30 years now. Well, what happened was that I've always had animals, and I used to rescue animals as a community service or the Kingston Humane Society. Then I found out at that time that the older animals were being euthanized because they couldn't be adopted out, so I decided to start bringing them home. And it wasn't that bad at first, because I'd rescue a cat out of a tree or down a gully or any type of animal, but the cats came here. And then the National Enquirer had a contest, most cats under one roof. And one of the editors of the Week Standard, Norris McDonald, decided to enter my wife and I, Donna, in the contest. Well, at that time we had 145. Well, then it snowballed. People saw it and say, well, these people have got all kinds of money and dropping cats off at the door and everything else. And one morning we were sitting having coffee, and at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I fed the outside animals, the strays that I do feed. There was nothing on my veranda, and then half an hour later I see a big box, and I said, well, somebody's dropped me off cat food. Well, in that box was a mother cat with 8 kittens. So I brought them in. They were in a pillowcase. And other times I've gone out there and people's tied cats to my picnic table and left them there. I've never had a vacation since I've been taking in cats. I've gone overnight to Toronto, and overnight to Los Angeles to a TV program, and overnight to an opening of Leon's in Cornwall, but that's the extent of where I go. I can't stay away for overnight because somebody has to be here with the animals, unless somebody came here and looked after them, but nobody looks after them like I do. I get up at 6 in the morning and I start feeding them and changing litter boxes and stuff, and I have a fellow that comes up and volunteers, helps me. And I have a little box outside my front door with heat lamps for the winter for the stray cats and whatever other animal wants to sleep in there, and I put food out there for them. Right now I got a half a dozen raccoons eating there, and as I say, I throw food out, leftover food and cat food and stuff, and seagulls and the crows and the starlings all eat all that. My neighbors aren't too impressed with that, but why waste it? The cost varies, you know, it could vary from $100 to $200, and but you have to, that's what it costs a day. If your mortgage and your hide and everything belongs to the animals, but then you're fighting every day to find out your board, your bagging, and your things like that. Through the TV programs throughout the world, people have saw me and they said, well, look, we can't have our cat anymore. Can you take it? And one woman in particular from Chicago, she had a newborn. It was attacking her or playing with her baby, and she didn't want it. She brought it up here. Said, I'll make sure you never have to worry. Well, it come up, and it cost me $182 to pick it up at the airport because it flew by itself. There's a $25 check inside of the box with the cat. So, I mean, not that it makes much difference, but everything helps. Well, the worst thing I had was when I went out of town a few years ago to work down in New Jersey to do a paint job, and I come back and a virus had gone rampant, mainly because the person that I had here supposed to be cleaning was drinking and not cleaning, and filth caused the virus. At that time I lost 44, and I don't know, it's probably my fault for leaving the animals. That's why I don't leave them anymore. My oldest was Midnight, which was 24, and Midnight actually should have been dead because she was only a kitten when she had kittens, and Don and I were living on Victoria Street, and a car hit her and bounced her 75 feet down the road, And the veterinarian, she was in shock, and the veterinarian brought her to, and she lived to be 24. And her kittens all survived. Well, I like cats. I've always had them all my life, but I like all animals, but you can't have cats are one thing, you could have them, but you imagine having, at one time I had 691 cats here. You imagine having 601 dogs or horses in here. It's just not feasible. And cats, you can go to work, and when you're working, if you are, and they're okay by themselves, and once they get along to that. Cats have always been my favorite, because when I was young I had a cat. And, but other than that, that's why I keep them. People say, well, it's got to be a dirty home, and no, it's not. It's clean. I spend a lot of time cleaning and cleaning supplies. Granted, you're going to have an odor because there is animals. It's not a foul odor where a lot of people say, well, all them cats. And everything is cleaned here at least twice a day. The floors, furniture, there's no rugs. And I left it open to people. If they want to drop by and see what I'm doing, if they like it, they can leave a donation. If they don't, all the best. At least they've seen it and they can satisfy their own mind.
Jack, are you going to do this pretty well, you think, to the day you die and you can't move?
Yeah, it'll be the day I die. Yep. I have no intention of giving it up. If something happened that I couldn't do it, well, that'd be a different situation. But as long as I'm capable of doing it, I'll continue doing it.